Welcome to the evening of entertainment. We are so lucky to have with us tonight the Minnetonka Mystics. Let's welcome them with a big round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the most fascinating evening you will spend all week. Heaven has no brighter star than our first ethereal guest, that omniscient mistress of the Southeast and former manicurist to Agnes Shipman Robertson. Please welcome the magnificent mystic Alpha. That's Gloria, you're going to wave that. Okay. And sharing the stage with Alpha tonight, we welcome the other dutiful dimension of this dynamic dyad, Delta. Now we know that a surfeit of psychic splendor can diminish the capacity of any medium. So we've arranged for some ephemeral interludes from the Foundation trustee jokesters that are sure to delight and charm you. You're in for an awe-inspiring evening, ladies and gentlemen, so please sit back, tune in, and prepare to be amazed.
Oh, Lord, I'm about stuck.
Woo, 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 woo.
Please, please, I must have absolute quiet.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, silence so that our mystic may concentrate.
I hold in my hands several packets, and as a child of 4 could plainly see, these envelopes have been hermetically sealed. They've been kept in a mayonnaise jar in the lost luggage department of, I'm so sorry, this is silly. Since noon today, no one, I mean no one, has known the answers or the contents of these envelopes, but just I, in my mystical and borderline bodacious way, will astonishingly ascertain the answers, having never before heard the questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, each envelope contains a question, the answer to which the magnificent mystic Alpha will reveal before, yes, before, the envelope with the question is opened. Watch and be amazed.
Now let us begin. Again, I must have absolute quiet. Minnesota.
Which state has the smallest drinks?
I see humor on the horizon. Let me call in the voices in my head for a moment. Please, excuse me.
Did you know that a kangaroo can jump higher than the Empire State Building? No. Well, of course. The Empire State Building can't jump.
A boy asks his father, "Dad, are bugs good to eat?" "That's disgusting. Don't talk about things like that over dinner," the dad replies. After dinner, the father asks, "Now, son, what did you want to ask me?" Oh, nothing, the boy says. There was a bug in your soup, but now it's gone.
I got my husband a get better well soon card. He's not sick. I just think he could get better.
I saw a sign that said talking dog for sale, so I went to see this man about a dog. And I said to the dog, well, what have you done with your life? And he said, well, I fought in the war, and I help out at nursing homes, and I've rescued people in the Alps. And I said to the man, why would you want to give away this dog? And he said, because he's a liar. He never did any of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've heard these jokes before, don't stop us because we'd like to hear them again.
Now let me see. Minneapolis.
Where do baby fruits like to visit? You're very good at this, aren't you?
Well, my mother, Claire, came from an all-seeing family.
Really? Well, what was her surname?
Her surname was Voyant, Claire Voyant.
I see.
Shall we continue?
Please, astonish us with another envelope.
Altruism.
What does Ann Hudson consider a shopping spree at Talbot's?
Headquarters.
How has inflation altered the phrase, a penny for your thoughts?
Mary Rose.
What did Mary do when she sat on a pen?
Sisters, quiet, please. 3 hours. They're moaning already.
When the power went out, how long were the guests of questionable intelligence stuck on the escalator?
A shareholder.
What did Sonny Bono used to be?
misunderstanding.
What is a spa day in Vietnam for Linda Rissell?
Oh, I think I need to refresh, so I will.
My son and I were driving through Louisiana. As we approached Natchitoches, we started arguing about the pronunciation of the town. We argued back and forth and then stopped for a quick lunch. My son asked the waitress, "Before we order, could you please settle an argument for us? Would you pronounce where we are very slowly?" The waitress leaned in closely and said, "Burger King."
We'll have just a quick moment of entertainment. Wow. Cindy, will you bring me my card, which I left on the chair? Yes, thank you. Thank you. I did. Are you ready? I found a rock yesterday which measured 5,280 feet in length. Must be some kind of milestone.
It's been raining for 3 days without stop. My husband is in depression. He's standing and looking through the window. If the rain doesn't stop tomorrow, I might have to let him in.
The other day, I went out and bought me a dictionary. Got home, all those pages were blank. I just can't tell you. I just have no words how angry I am.
This week in Minneapolis, we hope you'll eat well and often. You know what they say, the more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap.
Wait. I think she's reviving.
I shall continue now. Silence, please, silence. A cook, a book, and a crook.
What are Julia Childs, Gone with the Wind, and Bernie Madoff?
Outside the box.
Where do claustrophobic people do their best thinking?
Toes go in first.
Why does President Sue have TGIF written on her sneakers?
A cold snap.
What do you call an alligator in the freezer?
Leave it to Beaver.
What did the dead raccoon write in his will?
Are y'all getting sleepy? I'm awfully...
The other day, my son, the genius, told me there was a hole in his shoe. I said, "Yes, son, that's where you put your foot."
You know what happens when the fog lifts in California? UCLA.
A brunette and a blonde were riding in a car. The brunette was driving, and they were going down Highway 1. The brunette says, "Oh my gosh, the brakes have gone out. The brakes have gone out. We're going to go over a cliff. We're going to go over a cliff." And the blonde says, "There's a stop sign ahead, so we will stop."
I got a new pair of gloves the other day, but they were both lefts. On the one hand, it was fine. On the other hand, it just wasn't right.
In Minnesota, a balanced diet is a Juicy Lucy in each hand.
Where did this envelope come from? Let me see. I changed my mind.
What did the brain transplant patient say?
Put it on my bill.
What did the duck say at the lipstick counter? You're good.
Timbuktu.
What comes after Timbuk 1?
A pork chop.
What is a pig's karate move?
Iran.
How did I escape Iraq?
Baja.
What noise do sheep make when they laugh?
A purple grape.
What do you call a green grape that stops breathing?
H2O.
What is HIJKLMNO?
these lights are so bright and hot. I'm just not used to working under such oppressive conditions.
If a short psychic broke out of jail, then you'd have a small, medium, at large.
Reaching the end of a job interview, the human resources officer asked a young engineer fresh out of MIT, and what starting salary are you looking for? The engineer eagerly replied, in the region of $125,000 a year, depending on the benefits package. The interviewer inquires, well, what would you say to a package of 5 weeks vacation, 24 paid holidays, full medical and dental, company matching retirement fund up to 50% of salary, and a company car leased every 2 years, say a red Corvette? Well, the engineer sits up straight and says, wow, are you kidding? The interviewer replies, yes, but you started it.
Last week, my husband fell off a ladder. You can ask him. He's okay, though. He fell off the first step.
Most people are really shocked when they find out how bad an electrician I am.
Always remember that you're unique, just like everybody else. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We had more, but we want you to get to sleep tonight. Our Mystic Marvels, Alpha and Delta, and the Foundation Trustee Jokesters. Were the jokes worthy of the audience? Was the audience worthy of the jokes? You be the judge. We'll be available for autographs following our performer tonight, and of course, donations to the foundation will be gratefully accepted. Thank you very much.
Tonight's performer is a magician who has shared his magic and his message across 4 continents. He was recognized twice as one of America's best performers. He is also the author of a personal success book, 3 New People, and host of the companion podcast, 1 New Person. His TED Talk on human connection has been viewed over 3 million times. Please welcome Brian Miller.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Do me a favor, everybody out like this if you can. Everybody out like this, everybody out like this. This is a warm-up that magicians do. Oh, I can tell you're all teachers. You don't have to wiggle your fingers, but I appreciate that you're all doing it. You just all follow the instructions so well. No, keep your hands out, though. Ready? Left hand, thumb down, palm out. Good. Right hand, thumb down, palm out. Take one arm, cross it all the way over the other. Lock your fingers together. Make sure you got your thumbs down. Make sure your neighbor has their thumbs down. You guys got your thumbs down over here, thumbs down at the back. All right, everybody on me. Ready? Wiggle your thumbs, wiggle your shoulders, and give me a big thumbs up to start the show. Magic! You shouldn't start shows like that. People just ignore you for the entire show trying to you'll see folks wandering the streets of Minneapolis later. You'll know exactly where they were tonight. And by the way, let me just say something before we really start the show. When conferences tell me that they'd like to do a skit before the show, it makes me very nervous. That was one of the funniest things I have ever seen. That was on point. I actually get nervous about following it. So here we go. I need somebody who's not planning on leaving, who's somebody right here who's not planning on leaving at all during the show. You're like, please don't do this to me. I was dragged to the front row. If you could see his face right now, this is not happening again. No, who's not planning on leaving during this show? You're not planning on leaving. Would you hold on to that for me? Hold on, you can put it in your pocket if you like, or hand it to someone that you think might not lose it before later in the show. You okay with that? It's Larry? Brian, very nice to meet you. Thanks so much for helping me out. We'll get back to that in a little bit, but first, we are going to start with one of the oldest illusions in magic. This isn't it. That's just a piece of rope. Do me a favor, would somebody check that out? Make sure that's what it seems to be. Let's see how good my arm is tonight. Somebody over here, check that out. Make sure that's what it seems. Oh, good catch. Oh, almost good catch. Here we go. And somebody right here, check that out. Is that what it seems to be? It is. Are you what you seem to be? No, you're not, you are confident. No chance. I asked that once at a philosophy conference. They were like, I have no idea. Am I who I seem to be? I seem to be who I think I am. You think you can get that back to me? Excellent. That'll be... Thought we were going to do a little stage dive tonight. That's okay. I'll come right down here. We got 1. That's 2. Nice toss. Thank you very much. 3 pieces of rope, and they are all the same length. Yes? Boy, it's going to be a tough show tonight. I can tell already. No, look, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. If I take the ends and I hold them up, now they look like they're the same length. The ends do. I didn't say it was a great illusion. I just said it was an old illusion. I'll prove it to you. Here we go. This illusion's been around for thousands of years, and it still looks good. That's the big one right there from the beginning. That's the medium one right there. That's the small one right there. Now, there's too many things going on, right? There's 3 ropes, 2 hands, 10 fingers. I'll get rid of one of the pieces of rope. It'll be easier to follow with just 2, won't it? Maybe I should just start over with only 1. Then it'll be a little bit simpler with only 1. Sometimes sometimes the ends come off, which is a little unusual. I'll give you that, but I'll do that again in case you missed it there at the back. If I take the ends off the wrong side like this, I have to come back up here and put it back on the right side. Then there's people who think that this trick is all about the ends. That's not true. The middles, those come off too. I can place the middles right here, place them back on the rope. We're back in business, but you all know this trick wasn't done with 1 piece of rope. It wasn't even done with 2 pieces. It was actually done with... That was good. A handful of us watched Sesame Street. That was perfect. That was right on. That's the big one right there from the beginning. That's the medium one right there. That's the small one right there. Can you guys tell which one's which from the beginning? Can you tell? You see, this is the big one. That's the big one. That's the medium one. That's the small one. Little illusion to get things started. Yeah. Okay. So, tonight's show is about puzzles. Sometimes things happen in between the tricks. Tonight's show is about puzzles and games, and this right here, this is my all-time favorite puzzle. You guys know what this is? Ah, yes, Rubik's Cube. Some of you look excited. Many of you look angry just because I'm holding one. I can feel it a little bit. A few of you all just had flashbacks. I think we all just had like a collective flashback to the 80s there for a second. I love the Rubik's Cube. They're actually easier to solve than they look like. Does anybody here actually know how to solve one? Anybody in this audience know how to solve one? We have 1 or 2 folks who do. They're easier than they look like. Take the stickers off, rearrange them, put them back in the right order, right? Break the pieces apart, you can put it back together. Things work smarter, not harder. That's what my dad taught me. I learned how to do one by memory, and I realized if you spin it really fast, it's good to be a magician. So... I'm going to do that again. I'm actually going to you're very kind. Thank you. People never know when they're supposed to clap in magic shows. It's always very confusing for people. I appreciate it. I'm actually going to show you how I did it because it's not a magic trick. I'm a sleight of hand artist. Everything I do is actually manipulation of objects. And right here, there's only 6 turns left. I know how to solve this thing. And when there's only 6 turns left and I know how to do them, if I do all 6 turns all at once, it looks like that. It is just, thank you. I'll take that one. It is just... I'll take that one because that's what my mom calls a wasted childhood. So I'll take that verbal pat on the head. So, I love the Rubik's Cube. Now, does anybody here know how many possible combinations the Rubik's Cube can be in? Does anybody know? Like this is 1, 2, 3, 4. What did you say? Quintillion. It's more than that, but that was the closest anybody's ever guessed. It's 43 quintillion. That's the real answer. Million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion. It sounds like a fake number. That is a real number. I know it is because I have a math degree that I have never used. Wish that was a joke. I have a degree in mathematics and philosophy because I wanted to have no job and no life. So college was fun. I learned how to do one of these, though, in one hand. If you do it in one hand, it proves Nothing, it just looks good. So I love puzzles, I love games. Over the course of the show, we're gonna do some puzzles, play some games, have a good time. I will need a handful of volunteers this evening. Now, before I take anybody up on stage, let me say this. Many people come to shows like this, they like to see the show, but they get nervous that they're gonna get called up on stage or called out in the audience. I don't do that to anybody. I've always thought it was rude when people did. So if you just want to enjoy the show, you're not gonna get called up on stage. You can just relax right now, okay? For the rest of you, I will need a handful of volunteers, and so my promise to everybody tonight is this. If you come up on stage tonight, we will have a lot of fun, but you will not be made fun of. Is that fair? Is that reasonable? Okay, excellent. So the first volunteer I need tonight, I need somebody with a $100 bill they're okay with never seeing again. Do you see how fast that hand went down? That's do you really have 100? Because this might be the first time I ever make extra money during the show. No, don't. I'll tell you what, here's what I actually want. I just want somebody with a $1 bill to come up, play a game, and have some fun. If you do well, I might turn your dollar into 100. How does that sound? You guys say, oh, look at that, you found $1 too. What's your name? April. Give April a big round of applause. You're gonna come all the way up here if you would. It's a long way up to the stage tonight, April, so you, by all means, you come over here. Where are you from? Louisville, Kentucky. Represent? Nobody. Okay, good. Here we go. Come on. Not one other person. You're on your own. Come right up here. Oh, you can hold on to that as you come up here. Perfect. Now, do you feel comfortable sitting in I know this is a tall chair. If you don't, you're welcome to stand during this.
I've been known to fall off them.
You have, okay, well, in that case, hang on one second. Come back down. I'm just going to move this over here for you so that you can come right here with the group, and I'll make sure we keep this stable for you. All right, April, excellent. Please don't fall tonight. I have Oh, good, because you made me. I have liability insurance, and I don't want to use it. Is what I'm saying. So, April, you're from Louisville, and what do you do? What did you do in education?
I'm a retired elementary teacher.
Retired elementary teacher. It's so wonderful. I am so thrilled to be here with educators. I love, so many of my friends and family are teachers. There's no joke coming at the end of this. I just really appreciate what you all do. I've got $1 here. Yeah, clap for yourself. Sure. Please. We've got $1 here. I'm going to give you a receipt for your $1. Is it okay that I tore the corner off it? Doesn't matter. Already did it. That's for you. That's a receipt so that just in case you ever see your $1 again, you'll know that it's yours that you're getting back. And aren't you excited to have volunteered for this? You know what's funny is that you don't seem nervous, like you don't care much. I mean, you had 100 ready to give me. What do you care about this? But I do this show at college campuses. I was just at an orientation, freshman orientation, 18-year-olds the other day. I ripped their $1. You should see a kid's face. They got that smile on because they're in front of an audience, but inside they're like, my $1. My only $1. We're going to play a game. I'm actually going to grab, where'd that paper clip go? Nothing safer than a magician ripping your $1 and putting a paper clip on it in the middle of a show. We're going to leave that there. We'll get back to that. We're going to play a game. Are you excited?
I am.
Before we play the game, I'm going to show you some of the potential prizes that you could win for playing this game. Nothing but the highest quality at Brian Miller Magic. Thanks for laughing at it, guys, because I did my show in North Dakota once. Not even a chuckle. Everybody just looked at me. What's wrong with Walmart? Where's my North Dakota folks? Who did I offend tonight? There's always one or two in every national group. There they are. You guys, thanks for being here. So, some of the potential prizes that you could win for playing this game, you could win a professional magician's magic wand.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Right? Look at this. It lights up.
A princess type.
It used to light up. Walmart. You could win a pack of Trident gum. That's not too bad. That's a little pack of gum. That's kind of a nice prize. I'm going to leave that over here just to entice you.
I'm easily enticed.
You could win a
Wow.
clown's nose.
One of those, yeah.
Look. It's good. You got to squeak it. It's fun. It's right in the middle.
It doesn't like me as well.
It's right in the middle. That's not magic. That's a dog toy. Seriously? You have to do this to your friends. I used to have friends. It was great. I do this in hotels and elevators all over the world. You've never had more fun in life. You take one, they really are from a dollar store. You get these out of a dog toy. I hide these in my hand. Strangers never expect you to have one, let alone be hiding it in public. People come into the elevator, the door's closed, they can't get out. I say, so you guys are evil just like me. I say, hey, what floor do you want? Like I'm going to be helpful, push the button for them. They say 3 or whatever. I press the opposite wall, nowhere near a button, just You keep a straight face, funnier it is. People be like this, but they can't leave because it's an elevator. No one talks to me in public. Last but not least, April, one of these free pens you could get at the bank. They're free. You have to pull really hard. Everything in life is free when you're me, I don't know. So we're going to play a game with that red ball right there. Check out the red ball. Make sure there's nothing special about it. I know it was a disappointing moment in your life. Nothing special about it. You wouldn't know it if you found it. So here's what's going to happen. Remember that game when you were a kid where you take a small object, you place it behind your back, mix it up, bring your hand forward, and you have to guess which hand it's in? Were you any good at that game?
Medium, so-so.
That's the correct answer. It should be about 50-50. So that's math degree. So here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to mix it up behind my back, right? That would be cheating. You already don't trust me. As well, you shouldn't. So I'm going to mix it up right out here in front of you. When you guess, don't point. I won't be sure where you're pointing. I'll get nervous. I'll get self-conscious like you're pointing at my eyebrows. They're taking over my face. They won. We don't worry about them. Instead, you're going to guess this hand or that hand. If you guess this hand or that hand, that's this hand, this is that hand. Please refrain from referring to this hand as that hand is this hand, that's this hand, this is that hand. Got it?
Not really, but I'll give it a go.
All right, we're playing for your dollar, April. Here we go. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah.
I'm going to go with that.
We're going to start over just to make sure you're not saying crazy things because it's not nearly as good a show as you thought it was going to be. So it's like literally nothing interesting has happened yet. Okay, we'll just start over. No one trusts me. All right, here we go.
How about let's go with that hand again.
That hand again? Oh, I usually get people on that. That was very good. That was very good. That was good. That was good. All right, we can applaud the 50-50 chance. That's fine. That's fine. All right, we're 1 for 2. We're right on. So we're going to do it again. Here we go. Are you ready?
Let's go with. How about that hand again?
That hand again? Okay, now that time you saw me put it in my pocket, right? Like I told you, like nobody trusts me. I turned, I went like this. You guys aren't helping at all. You saw me do that. All right, one last time, Abel, for your dollar. This is it. This is the end. Are you ready? Are you ready? Slow motion. Do, 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 do. Slow motion. Do, 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 do. That's what slow motion sounds like. Boink. Just kidding. Which hand?
How about that hand?
That's this hand. This is that hand.
I know. Okay, that hand.
That's this hand, April. This hand? You were close. You had the right color, just had the wrong shape. If you said that hand, you would have had the right shape but the wrong color, because the ball's where I said it was. Look, it's still down here in my pocket. Yay! That's You really shouldn't clap for that. That's the dumbest thing you're going to see all night. Now, I told you when you came up here, if you did well, that I would turn your dollar into 100. You were about 1 for 4, maybe 1 for 5. But I tell you what, I'm in a good mood. You guys are here. When I was a kid, one of my favorite games to do was play with fire.
This is altruism, ladies.
Round of applause for April. She's not leaving. You have that 100? We can try it again.
So you want the rest of it?
No, that's proof of magic.
You're great.
Wait a second. You're still here. Oh, you left. Welcome back. Larry. You still have the... Would you stand up? Turn face the audience if you would. Would you tear that open? Tear it open, yeah. Just rip it open. You don't have to be nice. It's done for the show. Rip it open. Dump out what's inside. Go ahead. Dump out what's inside. Hold it up and show it to everybody. Hold it up and show it to everybody. Show them what it is. Show them what it is. Show them what it is, Larry. What is that? It's a piece of gum? Is that sealed? This is my favorite part of the show. Yeah, the anxiety attack of watching somebody open up that stupid cellophane in front of a live audience. And yet somehow people always manage it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, I bet you can do it. Give it a tear. Yep. Tear that open. There's also the red tab. You can just pull it all the way around. You know, they make that on all the cellophane wrappers, right? Just tear that open, April. Go ahead. Tear it open. Do you need somebody to help you from over here? Somebody want to run up and help? If I go anywhere near it, they're not going to trust me. Go ahead. Just use your nails to tear it open. It does open. It's not a magic trick. Just open up the gum. April, we're losing dramatic tension is what's happening right now. This trick should have been over 10 minutes ago. We're going to... Go ahead. Tear it open. Tear it open. Tear it open. Just rip it open. If you try hard, it will come open. You're not trying. You're just looking at it. Just go ahead. Somebody run up here and help April. Rachel, run up here and help April. Go ahead. Don't jump off the chair. Rip that open. There it is, right open. Go ahead. Open that up, open that up. Now wait, don't go anywhere, Rachel, just in case. Open that up, open that up. Is there anything that looks unusual? Take it out, take it out. You can set the whole pack down on the table, open that up. Inside the gum, inside the cellophane, inside the wrapper that's been on the table since before we started, is that a piece of gum? No. Unfold. Unfold the dollar. Is there a corner missing? Hold up your corner, and show them that that is absolutely unequivocally your dollar in every single way. Give her a big round of applause. She gets her dollar back. Thank you very much. Let me help you down off of here. And this is a souvenir for you. That's your gum. Thank you very much. And I'm back. Thank you, Rachel. By the way, if you are upset that I ripped your dollar, just come see me after the show, April. I would be more than happy to sign that for you. So, now, for a long, long time in my career, my show was all about puzzles and games and kind of curiosity and things like that. But over the last few years, I've become fascinated by stories and storytelling. I've become fascinated by the way stories are, they kind of permeate through our lives. For instance, right from the time that we're born, very early on in our lives, we're told stories, right? We're read bedtime stories. If you're from a spiritual or religious family, you hear stories from that end of things. As we get a little bit older, we start to hear stories that are a little bit less once upon a time, the stories that adults and teachers and parental figures tell us. Now, some of these, as we get older, we learn some of them were true, some of them were sort of true, some of them weren't true, and a lot of them are conflicting, and that's one of the harder things about childhood, right? As we grow older, we start to realize that there's conflicting stories being told to us in the world. And then as we become adults, we start to become aware, teens, college years, and on from there, that advertisers and marketers are everywhere, and they're telling us stories, kind of the yin and yang, the light side and the dark side. Advertisers like to tell stories to manipulate us. Marketers generally like to tell stories when they do their jobs well to create a positive change, right? Like advertisers are good at manipulating people to sell cigarettes to children, but marketers are able to do things like get new enrollment for an amazing organization like this, right? We've got two different ways to tell stories. So stories, there's one other way that we tell stories, and it's the most difficult, and it's the stories we tell ourselves, the self-deception, the stories we tell ourselves all our lives about what we can and cannot do and who we can and cannot be. And I want to tell you a story now. There's no trick in this, but it's a story about a trick that happened once. When I first started my career, I was doing a lot of magic in restaurants, table to table, card tricks, coin tricks, sleight of hand. And this one night, I was on fire. I was fast and funny. My moves were perfect. I was unstoppable. So I kind of swaggered up to this table. It was an older gentleman and his wife, and I said, folks, would you like to see some magic while you wait for your meals? The man looked at me. He said, sir, I would love to see some magic, but I can't. And then he hit me with this. He said, unfortunately, I'm blind. And I looked at him, and I mean really looked at him for the very first time, and it was so clear he was blind, right? His eyes were glazed. He wasn't really looking at anything. Anybody here would have known he was blind, but I was so wrapped up in my evening, I was so lost in my perfect night as a magician that I wasn't looking at him. I just saw two generic people, and I launched into my show. So I stood there embarrassed, and that word was just ringing in my ears, blind, blind, blind. And I finally said, I really apologize. I didn't know. I don't have anything I can do for you right now. But in an attempt to save the situation and make myself feel better, I said, if you ever come visit me again, I promise I'll have some sort of magic that I can share with you. He said, I'll hold you to that. And I went on with my night. A few weeks later, they came back. I recognized them immediately and panicked. I had completely forgotten about them. I raced back to the room where I kept my stuff, and I was racking my brain, every trick I'd ever learned, every book I'd ever read, something, anything that I can do for this man, and then I had an idea. I didn't know where it came from at the time, but it's all I had, so I kind of composed myself. I walked back out. I said, folks, my name's Brian. I'm the magician. He cut me off. He goes, all right, we're back. What do you got for me? With a big old smile on his face. So I asked his wife, may I sit next to you? She said, sure. So I sat next to her. I said, your name, sir? He said, Ed. I said, Ed, do you trust your wife? He said, sometimes. I said, will you trust her now for a few minutes? He said, sure. So I took out a pack of playing cards. I gave them to her. I said, please mix them up. Make sure there's nothing special, no markings, no abrasions. She said, no, they're fine. They're normal. I took Ed's hand. I placed a card in his hand. I said, Ed, do you think this is a red card or a black card? He said, red. And he was right. I placed the next one in. He said, red. He was right again. I placed the next one in. He goes, black. Again, correct. His wife is getting skeptical at this point, and we just kept going. Red, red, black, red. We're going faster. Black, red, black, black. We're going through the entire pack. Red, black, red, red, red. He's getting all of them right. Red, black, 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 red, red. At the end of the pack, Ed is laughing. I mean, this guy's howling. The whole restaurant was staring at us, and I turned, and his wife was weeping tears of joy. It was the most beautiful magic I had ever experienced in a career as a magician. And a little bit later, I am going to tell you how he did it. But the real secret of the trick, the real secret of magic, is a willingness and ability to take on and understand different perspectives, to take on different points of view. And that's, of course, what you do as educators all day, every day, in the classroom and outside of it, is take on the perspective of your students, figure out how to connect with them, how to engage with them, how to meet them in the middle, how to show up on a daily basis and say, I hear you, I see you, I'm here for you, and create something spectacular in the middle, even if you don't have the same point of view, especially if you don't have the same point of view. And I've had the very good fortune of being a magician now for 15 years. It's taken me all over the world. I've performed for many corporate audiences, hundreds of college campuses. I've done a couple of tours for the American troops, doing shows on military bases all over the world. And what I'm finding is everywhere I go in the world, we are all starting to lose that ability just a little bit, the ability to see things from a different point of view. And I like to, every night, prove that we're still able to do it. So I want to bring somebody up on stage tonight who's got a great imagination, and somebody who is familiar with a pack of playing cards. You need to know the difference between clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but you would not believe what I've gone through in my career. You do need to know the difference between them. And I also need someone who has pockets. Now, I know we've got a lot of women in the room tonight, and sometimes your clothing doesn't have pockets. Worse, sometimes it's an illusion, and they sew it to look like there's pockets. And then you go like this and nothing happens. What is that, by the way? I need somebody to come up and help me out tonight. Somebody who wants to come up and help me out. I've got a big hand right there. What's your name? What is it? I'm sorry, someone right here with sunglasses on your head. Cindy? Come on up. Give a big round of applause. Come on up. Come on up. Dun, 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 dun. I don't use music in the middle of the show, so I'm forced to start yodeling or something when we wait for. Look at that. That was a little. Thank you. Now it was Cindy. Very nice to meet you. Right up here. Center stage, if you would. It is bright. That, do you see those glasses and that little hair swoosh right there? That was very cool. Hang here just for a second. We are going to do an old classic piece of mind reading. Have you ever had your mind read? Excellent. This will be great then. I've got a pack of playing cards right here. Would you do me a favor? Take these, put it in your pocket on that side if you would. Okay, right here for me, center stage. I want you to, we're not even quite in the center, that's okay. I want you to see a giant movie screen just over the heads of the audience. Don't look right at them, they'll start making faces at you. See? I want you to see all the playing cards in the world. I'm sorry, not all the playing cards in the whole world, that's crazy, your brain would implode. I want you to see one pack of playing cards mixing around, shuffling around. You should get rid of the obvious cards, aces, kings, everybody thinks of those. Be more imaginative than that. Okay, you see the rest of the cards though. You should see two colors, red cards and black cards. If you're seeing anything other than red and black cards, you can sit down, somebody else will do this. Still here. Get rid of one of the colors in your mind, either the red cards or the black cards. Don't tell me which one. Just go, cards be gone. All right, that wasn't bad. I mean, that wasn't bad. That was good. There you go. That was good. I thought with that hair swoosh and the shades, you're going to be a little bit more theatrical. That was beautiful. All right, so we're down to one color. You have either red cards or black cards. If you have red cards, you have hearts and diamonds. If you have black cards, you have clubs and spades. Get rid of one of the suits in your mind right now. Cards be gone, 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 gone. Gone. So we're down to one suit. You have either clubs or hearts or spades or diamonds. You have about 10 cards left. See a number, get it in your mind. Now, have you got it? You've got a number and a suit. That means you're thinking of a playing card. Something like the Jack of Spades. It's not the Jack of Spades. I wasn't guessing the Jack of Spades, but I would have been like, good night, that's it for me. No. Okay, keep your card in mind. Don't forget it. We're going to do a classic piece of mind reading. This has been around since the vaudeville days, the days of the amazing Kreskin. When I say that at college campuses, they think it's a breakfast cereal, Kreskin Crunch or something. No. Whiteboard for you, whiteboard for me, marker for me, marker for you. In a moment, we're going to stand back to back. You'll face that way, I'll face this way. And while we're facing opposite directions, you're going to draw a big picture of the card that you're thinking of as best as you can. As best as you can. Are you an artist? You are. This is going to be, I expect, top-notch artwork right now. And I'm going to try to draw exactly what you're drawing in the same detail as you at the same time while we're facing opposite directions. And if I can do that, that would freak me out. Hopefully you would enjoy it as well. So you're going to face that way. I'm going to face this way, back to back. And before you start drawing, just make sure you tilt it up enough so I can see it in the mirrors that we set up here before the show. There's one out there. There's also cameras on us and giant screens, so this is going to be extra easy tonight. Okay. All right, just go ahead. Did she see it yet? Oh, she's looking at the screen over there, right? That's no fair. She can see what I'm doing tonight. I guess it goes both ways. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. That's tinfoil. I can't actually see anything in that. You just keep, just keep drawing. I'm not going to cheat. I'm just going to use my mental antenna. This is the best $2 I ever stole from my dentist. Seriously, you have more fun in life. Okay, what card are you thinking of? Please tell me it was the 2 of hearts. Your mind is blank. What happened? You hadn't finished. What were you doing over there? It's like she was distracted by something. What were you thinking of?
4 of hearts.
The 4 of hearts. Draw a 4 and add 2 more hearts on there. There you go. 4 of hearts. Now, is there any particular reason that you were, that looks like a B for Brian, I love it. Is there any particular reason that you were thinking of the 4 of hearts as for your lucky number astrologically?
Yes.
It is. What about hearts? Is that special? Love? Just a heart? 4 was special, hearts, nah, love. Whatever. Now, I have to tell you something. I do a silly show. Trust me, I know that I do a silly show. But I think what we just did is what magic is all about. Magic's about taking things from your imagination and putting them into the real world. I think that's what life's about. I know this is cheesy, but if you have hopes, dreams, goals, ambitions, write them down. When you write them down, you take them out of your imagination, you put them into the real world. It actually makes them possible and easier to achieve. And we did this with a playing card, admittedly, a silly thing. Probably not going to change your life, but you've had a pack of playing cards in your pocket since before we started. Would you take those out for me? I want you to see this. On the back of this pack of cards, a big black X. You merely thought of the Four of Hearts, and I want you to see that in here there's one card and only one card facing the wrong way. It's the only card in the pack facing the wrong way, and the only card I drew a big black X on, the Four of Hearts. You have an excellent imagination. Thank you so much for helping me out with that. Big round of applause. So I promised you that I would tell you how Ed, how a blind man, could see the colors, could see the cards, could tell us what we did. The answer, like most great magic, is actually very simple. When I first sat down, I sat across from him, and underneath the table, I gently placed my foot on top of his secretly. And then I took his hand, and I gave him these instructions. I said, Ed, in a moment, I'm going to place a card in your hand. I want you to let me know if you think it's a red card, and I pushed my foot down on his once. Then say red. If you think it's a black card, and I pushed my foot down on his twice, then say black. I was teaching Ed a secret system of communication by which I could let him know the color of the cards via the foot taps under the table. Once for red, twice for black. And then just in case, I repeated the instructions. So if you think it's a red card, say red. If you think it's a black card, say black. And then I squeezed his hand gently and I asked, do you understand? And he smiled. That big Ed smile. And he said, I understand. And I knew in that moment that we had made a connection. When it was all said and done, I taught his wife how he did it so that they could go do it for their friends and family. And Ed was so excited he couldn't wait to go visit his grandkids that weekend to, quote, freak them out. So you see, for me, magic's not about a secret. It's not about a trick. Magic is about connecting. I think life is about connecting with people. And connecting with people is about taking on and understanding different perspectives, different points of view. Now, as I say, I've become obsessed with stories about things that we can and can't do, the stories the world tells us, the stories we tell ourselves. And I'd like to teach you all a trick tonight. How does that sound? I'm going to teach you how to do a trick, yeah. I'm going to teach you how to do a trick that I learned on the back of a cereal box, I think, when I was like, seriously, that I was like 5 years old. I learned this on the back of a cereal box. Anybody in the world can do this. I have a big, nice version for audiences, but you can just get an index card and put a dot. You're going to put one dot in the middle. You can put one dot on this side, 4 dots on that side, 3 dots on that side, 6 dots on that side. Then you're all set to learn the trick. Questions about the setup? All right, one more time. So there's 1 dot on this side, 4 dots on that side, 3 dots on that side, 6 dots on that side. Then you're all set to learn the trick. That's the setup. Questions? Okay, this is the trick, and I'm going to teach you all how to do it. So literally anybody can learn this trick and fool your friends. Now, here's the thing. People think they're fooled by magic. This is the story we tell ourselves. We think we're fooled by magic because we're not paying enough attention. It's the opposite. We're fooled by magic because we're paying too much attention, but to the wrong thing. We do this in magic shows, and we do it equally in life. Every millisecond of every day, our attention is focused on the things that our brain thinks is most important. And what magicians do is we hack that. We stick the secret right at the spot your brain thinks isn't important. Your brain gets rid of it for us. We don't even fool you. Your brain fools itself. It's called a cognitive blind spot. And if you're aware of your own biases, you can navigate the world better. So, for instance, when I first took this out, everybody's brain ignores the fact that I'm holding it. Subconsciously, your brain goes, it's got to be holding it somewhere, not important information. But the longer you stare at it now, you're trying to figure out the trick, your brain has recalibrated itself, and most of you at this point have figured out I'm covering up a little bit too much space over here. He's a sneaky magician, trying to fool us, probably hiding something, and of course I am, I'm hiding an extra dot. The question is, how do you use that dot to create that illusion? If I cover up the dot, your brain will tell you there's only one, even when you know there's two. It's really hard to unsee something you already think you know. But even worse, if I cover the blank space, your brain will tell you there's 3, even when you know there's 2. It's really hard to unsee something you already think you know. This looks like 1, this looks like 3. 1, 3. Even worse, the other side, there's not 4, there's not 6, there's actually 5. There's an extra one right here. Cover it up, it looks like 4. Cover the blank space, it looks like 6. 4, 6. Tell me that's not upsetting. So, when I start, this is all you have to do. You're going to cover the dot and show them 1. Cover the dot and show them 4. Cover the blank space to show them 3. Cover the blank space to show them 6. So from the beginning, it's 1, 4, 3, 6. And if you do it in performance speed, it's 1, 4, 3, 6. And what's amazing is even when you know the secret, it's really hard to see it at that point, isn't it? It's just an incredibly difficult thing to do. Now, here's the thing. If you ever do this trick, if you ever actually cover up a blank space, don't forget that you're covering a blank space. If you ever do, they'll see that there's only 5, and then the whole trick is over at that point. If you're holding this side and they see that there's only 2 over there, except there's actually 3 on that side. There's actually a whole bunch of things on the other side. There's lots of different things going on over here, isn't there? You see magic. So now you know a little bit about how our brains are fooled when you see things you think you know, when you see things you don't think you know. And I have to tell you a little bit about Harry Houdini. You guys know who Harry Houdini is, don't you? You see? Harry Houdini, what did he do? He wasn't just a magician. What was he? He was an escape artist, exactly. He was an escape artist. He wasn't just a magician. They would put him in a jail cell and he would escape. They would put him in chains and he would get out without a key. I need, obviously without a key, otherwise not impressive. I need to bring up a volunteer for a death-defying feat of impossibility. Oh boy, that was a quick hand. I usually have trouble getting volunteers for this one. What was your name? Yeah. Melody, with a D. Melody, will you mind coming up and sitting on this lovely chair all the way up here on the throne? Melody, where are you from? You say you're from Virginia. Listen to that applause for Virginia. Come right up here if you would. Thank you very much. See, what happens in magic shows is we have to clap too many times. We have to clap when people come up on stage. We clap when they leave. We clap when I do things. We clap when other things happen. So by this point in magic shows, people start deciding they're only going to clap when people leave the stage. So we are going to clap big for you later when you leave the stage. Melody, thank you for being here. You have one of the most important jobs in the show. Your job tonight is, no, it's true, you do. Your job tonight is you have nothing to do. And the reason this is the most important job in the show is because what I'm about to do, I could do without a volunteer. I don't need anybody to help me with this. But if I did this without somebody up here, nobody would believe me that it had actually happened. You're going to be the eyes and ears of the audience this evening. We are going to do an escape. Well, you're going to do an escape. Okay. Either you're going to escape or we're going to be here forever. At least you look nervous. At the orientation show, college kid the other day, I went like this. Kid goes. I was like, I'm leaving. Take this chain and break it apart. That was a valiant effort. Usually people don't even try. Usually people take one look at it and they're like, we're That's a good answer. Go all the way around the chain. Make sure there are no places that it comes apart. You won't be doing anything dangerous. I will be doing a death-defying escape from electrical tape. The audience hushes in anticipation. Did you hear that ooh out there? Feel that the tape is actually sticky on this side. Feel that? No, this side my thumb is sticking too. Literally everybody does that. Do not feel bad. It is actually sticking. I've never understood it. This has been in my act for 8 years. Every single person ever has tried the side my thumb is not sticking to first. Do me a favor. A few folks right out here in the front, would you feel that? That is actually sticky. You can feel that. This is real tape. Yes, thank you for doing that. Yes, hello. Okay, everybody gets in on this. Now, by the way, thank you for actually checking it out. You cannot make this up. A couple of years ago on tour, a dude refused to check out the tape, wouldn't touch it because he was afraid, and I quote, afraid because it's electrical tape. Yes, that really actually happened. It's too stupid to make up. I'm going to tape my thumb and first finger together. The audience fears for the magician's safety. Can tell we've bonded this evening. Can you see that my fingers are actually taped together? Right? You feel real thumbs, real fingers?
Yes.
Real thumb tips, real fingertips? Real thumb tips, real fingertips? You feel real thumb tips, real fingertips, nothing rubber, nothing plastic. Does my hand come off the wrist? Thank you for trying that one. Excellent. Now, I want you to see this. Can you see I'm already losing circulation a little bit? A little bit. Yeah, they're turning a little different color, aren't they? This is not a trick. This is a stunt. If I spend too long doing this, I'll lose circulation. If I spend way too long doing it, I'll lose my entire career. So, in a moment, I'm going to do an escape in reverse. It'll be over in less than 5 seconds from right now. I give everybody a chance to understand what just happened. Where once I was free, now I am not. That is the worst Houdini impression of all time. I have unescaped from the chain. Here, tug hard on that pole. There's no way that that's coming off, right? That is absolutely, be careful. But it's definitely not coming off, right? Now, some people might think way at the back of the room that Melody didn't check out the chain well enough, so make sure that there's definitely not a break in the chain. I told you, if she wasn't up here, none of you would believe me that this was actually happening. Now, this time, the chain is going to go straight through my thumb this time. It's going to go through my thumb on the count of 3. Are you ready? It's going to go through my thumb on the count of 3. 1, 2, you're not squeamish, are you? Like when my thumb falls off and blood gushes into the air, you're not going to pass out? Because I would pass out and I need someone to catch me. That's why I'm asking. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, just like that, straight through the chain in every way. I know it's impossible being this close to it, isn't it? One last time One last time in case Take this and stand up for me if you would. Guess who doesn't work out? I don't even have an ab. Don't hurt yourself. I'm going to stand still. Can you see my fingers are turning purple? They feel purple. Yes, they are. Are they cold? Yes. Yes, that means that this trick is over. You're well away from this? Okay, for the big exciting climax of this, the magician valiantly, dramatically, desperately removes the edge of the end of the tape, usually to stun, confused, awkward, and deafening silence. That is for you. That is for me. Thank you very much for helping me out with this. You conquered your fears. Thank you very much for helping. Be careful on your way off. So, excellent. So, I got another story for you, and I have to tell you I travel a lot, and I read a lot. Readers in the room? Well, we got educators, mostly readers. Yeah, I mean, you got some groups, it's like crickets. They're like, what's reading? It's like, it's getting worse out there. I read a lot, and I have a habit of buying books in there. I still like real books, the ones that don't run out of batteries. Books running out of batteries drives me crazy. I like real books, and I buy the ones in airports. I buy the ones that are way overpriced. I'm always in airports, 100, 150 times a year. And I'll buy a book in an airport that looks interesting. If I like it, I read it. If I don't like it, if it's not for me, I'll just leave it somewhere for somebody to find, and they can read it and enjoy it, or leave it, or whatever they do. And lately, I found a book. It's still with me from the last couple of trips. So I told you earlier I have a math degree. It was a joke, but it was also true. I do have a math degree, and I found a book that is a fictional, mystery about statistics. I know it sounds bad, and it is. It is terrible. This book is the worst, but I've still got it with me. And so I thought tonight, instead of doing something with the book and words, we're going to try something with the numbers in the book. I'm going to come out into the audience for a few folks now. I'm going to be looking for folks who do not need to dig through and find reading glasses. And I would if I were sitting out there, so I'm not making fun of anybody, but I don't want to have to wait. So if I look at you to help me out and you're like, there's no way I'm going to be able to read something that small, just give me a big head shake like that and I'll go to somebody else, because I don't want to put anybody on the spot or make anybody feel silly or have to dig. All I'm going to, I'm using the book, look at this. It's the receipt from the airport. I'm still using this as a bookmark. I'm going to go like this. You're going to yell stop. When they say stop, you're just going to look at a page number. You're going to remember the page number. You're going to keep it in mind. Are you comfortable with this? Okay, what's your name? Kathy, with a C or a K? With a C. That's how I spell Brian, with a C. Thanks for being here. It's very confusing for people. I have a 7 in my name. They're always like, Jeff? I'm like, it's Brian. It's a thing I go through. Doesn't matter. Here you go. Kathy, I'm going to go like this. You're going to say stop anytime. Are you ready? Stop. Ooh, right there. Take a look at the number. You got it? Yep. A couple other folks, just in case. Just in case Kathy decides to lie to me later. Okay? All right. That's 1. Don't forget it. Here we go. You think you can do it? All right. Say stop anytime. Stop. Oh, that was very quick. Go ahead. Take a look at the number. A few other folks, just in case. Oh, you were just on stage. Hello. Okay. Good. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. It's 2. I love everybody's like, if I look the other way, he won't see me. Who can I? Hello. Will you be okay? Oh, what? I was saying, will you be okay if I do this? You went, stop. Didn't see it coming. Go ahead. Stop. Oh, right there. Go ahead. Take a look. Good. A couple other folks, just in case. Good. Okay. Got it. And right up here. Were you watching the screen? I'm right here. I'm just looking at the screen. I'm right here. That was a millennial moment. Now I gotta. They're like, pause. Hi. What's your name? Bob. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make fun of you. I know I wouldn't do that, but that was just, it was too funny that you're, okay. Bob, I'm gonna go like this. You look a little angry with me. Is this gonna be okay? Okay. Looks like this may not go well with Bob. All right, say stop. Ooh, okay, go ahead. That was very quick. You got it? A couple folks? You got it? Because you're not gonna let him mess with me. All right. That may not be true. They looked equally angry. Okay, we got 4 people with numbers. Where are they? Stand up if you could. 4 people with numbers, stand up. Yeah, we can keep the house lights on for this if you want. Yeah, perfect. We got 4 people with numbers right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm prone to extra long stories and lots of nonsense. I'm not going to do that right now. If I point at you and yell your number, you're just going to sit down, and that's how everybody will know that I got it right. Are we ready? 40, 104, 53, 142. All right, now hang on a second. Bob, did I get it right? I forgot. Wait a second. Okay, wait a second. Okay. 142. That's not right. Then why are you sitting down? But you're just being nice. Especially because we just had a whole thing. Was it really? Wait a second. Stand back up. I'm sorry. Bob, I love your name. It's spelled the same forwards and backwards. That makes me happy. It really wasn't 142. Okay, so this makes me nervous for a couple of reasons. 1, because I got it wrong, and it was a good show until just now. And 2, because you sat down just to make me feel good, which makes me nervous that I didn't get some of the other ones right, and everybody's just playing along to be nice. So give me 1 second, Bob. What did I say? 40? Was that right? Thank you. 104, I think. I got that right. 53? Those are all right. Okay, so the overwhelming odds are that I'm right. Just playing the odds right now. What number did you think you saw? 147. What did I say? 142? All right, now, for what it's worth, a 2 and a 7 look pretty close when you're looking at them quickly like we were just doing the eyes, right? That could be either of us making a mistake right now. You're like, no, there's no chance you're making a mistake. Okay, let's say I'm wrong. What was I off by? 5? That's pretty close. Bob. You're not coming on stage, it's okay. The receipt. Would you grab that for me and just open that up, turn face the audience? Maybe on the back. Would you read out loud in a clear voice what it says? I will be off by 5. Yes! Thank you very much, Bob. You're a saint. Thank you very much for playing along with that. So, I owe you something. You're a good sport. So as I say, I'm in a lot of airports, and I got to tell you a story right now about a time I was in an airport a whole bunch of years ago. It was really early. I was on one of those 5 a.m. flights where you got to be at the airport 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know those flights, right? I was there. I was in the middle of a long tour. I was exhausted. I was burnt out. I was having none of that morning, and I always, you know how when you travel, who travels a lot or has traveled a lot? We got people. Okay, you know how when you travel a lot, you wear like kind of comfortable clothes all the time, the same type of clothes all the time. So at the time I had my travel clothes, my flight clothes. I had this amazing pair of jeans. You know, like that favorite pair of jeans, the ones that like they feel like a part of you. I had this pair of jeans from Express, that store in every mall, that one. They had like the rips in, not I didn't do it, like the ones that were built into like I paid for those rips. You know what I mean? How much can I pay for the least amount of jeans? It was those jeans, right? I had on those. I had on a zip-up hoodie. Pro tip: some planes are too warm, some planes are too cold. Zip-up hoodie, regulate your own temperature. That'll be the best tip you take away from this whole conference. Probably not. And I had on a fedora. I always used to wear a fedora as a magician. I stopped because I occasionally speak at middle schools, and kids are mean. So, many of you know this. So I had on my ripped jeans, I had on my zip-up hoodie, I had on my fedora, and I get onto the plane, I look at my boarding pass, I have the last seat on the plane. I don't know if you ever had the last seat on an airplane before. I never had before, I never will again. It's 45 miles to the back of the plane. I get back there, the bathroom is right there. I can smell it, I'm getting like nauseated, I'm gross and sweating. This is not my morning, you know what I'm talking about? And I look at my seatmate, she's already here. Now, when I tell this story, I have to call a timeout right now. This is not the story of how I met my wife, and I have to say that, or people think it's going somewhere that it's not. Okay, time in. So I see this lady, she's my seatmate, she's already there. She's a well-dressed, elegant businesswoman, black pantsuit, pixie haircut. She's drinking a Starbucks and reading the paper. And I'm just like sweating and gross. You ever feel like apologizing to someone as you sit next to them? It's just the worst. So I sit down, pilot comes on instantly. He goes, how we doing, folks? Now, in case you don't fly a lot, let me break that down for you. That's a red flag. It's one thing pilots don't do at 4 a.m., chat for no reason whatsoever. He tells us it's going to be a delay, right? It's going to be a 45-minute delay, an hour-long delay because someone forgot to, put the wing on or whatever. And that's all I hear in that moment. And I'm just about to put on my headphones to drown out the misery of my morning. Now, I never wear my headphones when I travel. I love music. I actually originally went to school for music. Music runs in my family. Play a lot of instruments. I love music. But when you're out in the world, as soon as you put your headphones on, you tell the world you're not interested. You put up this brick wall between you and everybody else. And so I normally don't do that, but I am having none of this morning. I'm just about to put on my headphones, and right before I do, I hear this. I hear, I like your hat. It's the lady sitting next to me. I look up and she goes, I'm sorry, I noticed back in the terminal, thought it'd be kind of weird to come up and say that to a stranger, but since we're sitting next to each other, just wanted to let you know that I like your hat. Hi, I'm Zoe. I shook her hand, it brightened my morning. We started chatting. Eventually we had the same conversation you always have on a plane. I said, where are you going? She said, Minneapolis, believe it or not. I said, what for? She said, a conference. I said, what kind of a conference? She said, marketing. I said, what do you do? She said, oh, I teach influence and persuasion tactics at Yale University, Dr. Zoe Chance. I was like, what? That's the coolest job title ever. Are you kidding me? Professor of Influence and Persuasion Tactics? I was like, your name's not really Dr. Chance. You have got to have made that up. She says, really? She said, what do you do? I said, I'm a magician. She said, where are you going, right? I said, Minneapolis. She said, what for? I said, a conference. She said, what kind of a conference? I said, entertainment. She said, what do you do? I said, I'm a magician. She goes, no. I was like, yeah. She goes, I love magicians. I was kind of like, no, you don't. You know what I mean? Like, nobody loves magicians. We tolerate magicians. She said, I'm a professor of influence and persuasion. I study magicians. Couldn't believe it. We hit it off. We talked for the whole flight. At the end of it, she said, you have to let me know when your next show is back in Connecticut. I told her where it was, about 2 months away. She said, I'll be there. And I was like, okay. You know what I mean? I'm never going to see this lady again. And 2 months later, she was right there in the audience. She came up after the show. She said, "That was so much fun. I have to bring you into Yale as a guest speaker." I was like, okay. I'm never going to see this lady again, right? And 2 months later, I was a guest speaker at Yale for the first time, one of the most, prestigious institutions in the world, and something that has become one of my VIP clients, somebody I go to all the time over and over. Zoe and I became friends, colleagues of sorts. A few years later, I was invited to give a TEDx talk, a tiny little TEDx talk. I called up my friend Zoe. I said, "Would you help me write this? I don't know what I'm doing." She said, "Of course." She helped me write it. A few months later, I gave it, as you heard in the intro. It went viral, became one of the most popular TED Talks of all time, 3 million views worldwide. I started getting calls from everyone all over the world to come speak and share my message, and one of those calls came from the U.S. government, the American military. They said, "Would you go overseas and do a handful of tours for the troops on the bases?" I said, 100% yes, happy to. So all of a sudden, it's for them, right? We go for them. So I go over there on the first of 3 tours that would comprise a year of my life, and my first tour, I'm in Spain, I'm in Italy, and one of my days in Naples, I was in Naples, and my hosts, they said to me, it was a day off, and they said, "Would you like to visit Pompeii?" I was always bad at geography, okay? So I'm sure you all know, but just in case, Pompeii is the ancient city covered in ash by Mount Vesuvius, right? Naples, Mount Vesuvius is outside my window. I was like, oh, it's the big hill, right? So we go up to Pompeii. You get to pay a couple of bucks and walk around this ancient city. Some of you have been, I can see, it's unbelievable. And after a couple of hours, I ducked down an alleyway and out of nowhere realized they ended up in a massive outdoor amphitheater. And I realized I was standing on a stage, the same stage where thousands of years earlier my ancestors in entertainment stood right there and entertained their audiences. It was a surreal moment in my life, a moment that only existed because 5 years earlier, one stranger said to me, "I like your hat." You have no idea what kind of opportunities await you just on the other side of that next connection. You're all here for a conference that only works because you're all here. It doesn't work, as amazing as the organizers are and the team that put it on, and they are extraordinary, and we can give them a big round of applause. These conferences don't work because I'm here or because the organizers are here. They work because you're here. All of us are smarter than any of us, right? All of us are stronger than any of us. And our world is a shared experience, fractured by individual perspectives. Imagine if we could all feel understood. Wouldn't that be a better world? And I hope that you can all continue to push that message out there on into the world, because that's what you do as educators, whether you are retired or not right now. So thank you for the work that you do. I have one final piece to show you tonight. And before I do this final piece for you, let me just say that not only have you been an awesome group, because first full day of the conference is a long day for anybody. I know it is, and you're all here, and you're still engaged. So thank you for that. If anybody wants to come say hello to me, I've got my books. I'm going to be sitting at a table at the back of the room. I have a very small amount with me because I'm not here to sell books, but I do have some. The book's called 3 New People, Make the Most of Your Daily Interactions and Stop Missing Amazing Opportunities. It is a personal success book about connecting with anyone, strengthening your relationships, and building a sustainable career. If you're interested, feel free to come back and say hello back there. I've got them back there. And for the final piece I'd like to do tonight, I'm going to move over here to the center of the stage. The first thing I wanted to be when I was a kid was a cartoonist. I loved comics. Not so much comic books. I mean, they were fine, but I loved comic strips, the ones in the newspapers, Sunday funnies and all that. I loved Zitz and Dilbert and Garfield, and Calvin and Hobbes was my favorite. Yeah, I can tell we were cut from the same mold. Calvin and Hobbes was my favorite. If you don't know what Calvin and Hobbes is, and a few of you may not, it was a comic strip. It was a beautiful story of a 6-year-old boy, Calvin, and his stuffed tiger, Hobbes, who was real in his imagination. And together they would go on adventures, right? Sometimes in the real world, but often up here in their minds, in their imagination. It was a beautiful, pure strip about the world. And I am from the last group of kids that grew up before the digital revolution. I was the last group that grew up before that. So my little brother and I, we would spend our school evenings and summer afternoons just playing, just imagining, playing pretend. Anything could be part of our imagination. a toothbrush, a pencil. This is a card box. There are no cards inside. Box of crayons, one lonely blue crayon. This is how I meet people at parties. You can all check those out, show them to, whoever's near you if you like. So Calvin and Hobbes, I want to come back to this for a second. Calvin and Hobbes left the papers after only 10 years. It was only 10 years. And some folks now, if they look back on that, historically, are going to think that it was because it wasn't a huge success, but it's not the case. Of course, many of us know that. It was the most beloved comic strip since Peanuts and will probably continue to be that way. But the reason it left the papers is its creator, Bill Watterson, he had a falling out with his own publisher. He had spent years battling his own publisher in court because they wanted to merchandise. They wanted Calvin and Hobbes plush dolls and McDonald's toys and bumper stickers. They wanted to do what Garfield did, right? Take over the culture. And Watterson was having none of that because he thought it would cheapen the purity of his strip. So he spent years battling his own publisher in court. And he won that battle. But by the time he won it, in his own words, he had lost his own passion for drawing the strip. And so on a day that many of you remember, and I remember vividly, in 1995 was the final strip, the final one. And many of you remember what it was, too. Calvin and his trusty best friend in their sled on a snowy bank. Calvin's got a big smile on his face. Hobbes' scarf is blowing in the wind. And Calvin says, "It's a magical world, Hobbes, old buddy. Let's go exploring." Which is, of course, precisely what my brother and I would do. Anything for us could be fodder for our imagination. A plastic bottle could be a baseball bat if you wanted it to be where'd my toothbrush go? It's still here, excellent. A toothbrush, a pencil, could be swords. They could be magic wands, right? They could be lightsabers, depending on the generation, right? Of course, playing cards themselves, for me, endlessly entertaining, but even just the box, the empty box could be a pouch on the court of Camelot, for example. And of course, for me, as somebody who loved to draw, crayons, anything to draw with, even one lonely crayon, would be just a portal into the imagination. Now, Watterson, anybody who had heard this commencement speech he gave 5 years earlier in 1990, at the time, no internet, no viral videos, no YouTube, right? So nobody had heard this except for the folks in the room that day. But he gave a commencement speech where he talked about work and life and art and balance. And if you had ever heard that, you would have known his decision was coming to end the strip instead of monetizing it. And I carry around with me the final few passages from the commencement speech. And if you've never heard this, I hope you enjoy it. I know it's a weird way to end a magic show, but I am going to read to you the final few passages of Watterson's magnificent commencement speech. And I think that you'll appreciate this. That's the photo you took? Snooty philosophy professor. Creating a life that reflects your values and satisfies your soul is a rare achievement. In a culture that endlessly promotes excess, a person happy doing his own work is usually considered an eccentric. Ambition is only understood if it's to rise to the top of some imaginary ladder of success. Someone who takes an undemanding job because it affords him the time to pursue other interests and activities is considered a flake. A person who abandons a career in order to stay home and raise children is considered not living up to their full potential, as if a job title and salary were the sole measure of human worth. You'll be told in 100 ways, some subtle and some not, to keep climbing and never be satisfied with who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. There are a million ways to sell yourself out, and I guarantee you'll hear about them. To invent your own life's meaning is not easy, but it's still allowed, and I think you'll be happier for the trouble. I'm going to leave you with this. Just a few days ago, I was chatting with someone who was once my hero, then became a mentor, and I'm very lucky to now call a friend. You may have heard of him, you may not have, it doesn't really matter. His name's Seth Godin. And I said, Seth, you have written 19 best-selling books. You have been called the father of modern marketing. You are one of the most sought-after public speakers in the world. You have written 7,000 blog posts for 25 years on a daily basis. You have millions of readers. How do you balance life, work, and art? And he gave me the best answer. He said, Brian, balance is a tricky word because I don't think there's such a thing. There's just time. There's just where you are and what you do. I hope you all continue to do amazing things. Thank you so much and have an amazing evening. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. You're welcome. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. You're welcome to come up to the stage and take photos if you'd like. I'm going to be at the back over there.